Good evening. I am the Keeper, and you are listening to the Deadlight Codex. This is the account of a tenant who discovered a door that wasn't supposed to be there. It was on the 12th floor of a high-rise apartment building. The tenant had lived there for over a year, yet he'd never noticed it before. It was plain, unmarked, situated between two apartments. Curiosity gnawed at him, but he hesitated to open it. Something about it felt profoundly wrong, like a whispering secret in the dead of night. For weeks, the tenant avoided the door, convinced it was a maintenance closet or a storage area. One evening, he saw the maintenance worker, a familiar face, fiddling with the knob. The tenant mustered the courage to ask about the door. The worker paused, a puzzled look crossing his face. "There's no door there," he replied, with a chuckle that didn't quite reach his eyes. The tenant felt a chill crawl up his spine. If it wasn't supposed to be there, what was it? The worker's unease was contagious. The tenant couldn't shake the feeling that the door was significant. One night, armed with a flashlight and a sense of adventure, he approached it. His heart hammered in his chest as he reached for the handle. The knob was cold, but it turned smoothly, almost invitingly. As the door creaked open, he was met with a flight of stairs descending into darkness. The stairwell was silent, save for the distant hum of city life. It wasn't in the building plans. It shouldn't have existed, yet it beckoned him. The tenant hesitated at the top of the stairwell, peering into the abyss below. The flashlight beam barely pierced the darkness, revealing only the first few steps. Each step creaked ominously underfoot as he descended, the sound echoing in the confined space. The air was colder here, carrying an unsettling dampness that clung to his skin. It felt like stepping into another world, one that was separate from the building above. He descended further, counting the steps, 20, then 30, but there was no end in sight, only the oppressive weight of the unknown. After what felt like an eternity, the tenant reached a landing. A single flickering bulb hung from the ceiling, casting irregular shadows that danced across the walls. A door stood at the far end, identical to the one he'd entered. He approached cautiously, heart pounding in his ears like a relentless drum. The door opened easily, revealing an identical hallway to the one he'd left. It was as if he'd stepped into a perfect replica of his floor, but something was off. The silence was thicker here, more oppressive, as if the air itself was holding its breath. He stepped into the hallway, noticing subtle differences. The wallpaper was older and peeling, the carpet worn and stained with unidentifiable marks. Confused, he tried the door to what should have been his apartment. It opened to an empty room, devoid of furniture or personal effects, like a stage awaiting actors. The windows were boarded up, and a thick layer of dust coated every surface, muffling his footsteps. Panic rose in his chest as he realized this was not his home. The place felt abandoned, forgotten by time, a ghostly echo of his reality. The tenant's mind raced as he backed out into the hall. He tried the neighboring doors, each revealing similar scenes of neglect and decay. It was as if he had stepped into a forgotten world, parallel to his own, a place where life had simply stopped. Every door he opened deepened his sense of dread, the oppressive silence pressing in on him. He needed to return to the stairwell, to the reality he knew. But when he reached the landing, the door he had entered through was gone, replaced by a blank wall. The world had shifted, trapping him. Trapped in this impossible floor, the tenant's options dwindled. He wandered the hallway, searching for any sign of escape, the oppressive silence his only companion. Each twist and turn led him back to the same starting point, like a maze with no exit. The air grew heavier, staler, as if the very walls were closing in. Time lost its meaning as he retraced his steps again and again, a futile repetition. He began to wonder if he was the only soul here, or if something was watching, waiting in the shadows, biding its time. Desperation clawed at him. The tenant stopped in front of a door he'd opened before, determined to explore further. Inside, he found a staircase, impossibly spiraling upwards, its steps vanishing into the gloom above. Hope flickered within him as he ascended, each step echoing in the silence like a heartbeat. But the ascent seemed endless, the stairs stretching into infinity, a cruel illusion. He paused, breathless, realizing he had been climbing for hours. The realization settled in with a cold finality. This was not a way out. It was another trap, a cruel joke played by an unseen hand. As exhaustion set in, he considered his predicament. The world beyond the door defied logic, a realm of endless corridors and futile stairs. The tenant sat on a step, mind racing with possibilities. Was this a nightmare, a punishment, or something inexplicable? His flashlight flickered, then died, plunging him into total darkness. The silence was a living thing, wrapping around him like a shroud, suffocating in its intensity. Without light, without direction, he was truly lost in this nowhere place, where reality seemed to bend and twist with each passing moment. In the oppressive darkness, he heard it, a faint sound, almost a whisper. It was indistinct, like a distant echo of voices murmuring secrets. He strained to listen, hoping for a sign, a clue. The sound grew clearer, a rhythmic tapping, like footsteps. They seemed to come from above, or was it below? His heart pounded, and he struggled to rise, driven by a mix of fear and hope. Was it another trapped soul, or something else entirely? The uncertainty gnawed at him, urging him to move, to find an answer in the unending night. That's where the account ends, whether by choice or otherwise. The tenant's last known location was a place that shouldn't exist. The door that led to nowhere has since vanished, leaving no trace behind. The building's residents speak of strange sounds at night, footsteps echoing where none should be. The mystery remains unsolved, a tale whispered among those who dare to wonder. If you ever find a door that shouldn't be there, think twice before you open it. Some paths lead to places you may not return from.